I'm very excited about if they were to do what they're supposed to do tonight or what they're projected to do against the Orlando Magic. But they haven't touched the playoffs since damn near 2016, which is the longest streak in NBA history right now. So for players like Miles Bridges, which I don't even think people know, but he does hold the record right now for the most games played without a playoff appearance at 501 games.
Wow.
I want to ask from a cultural standpoint, team dynamic standpoint, could breaking this streak for the Hornets tonight change the entire culture of an organization, especially one that has such a young team? What do you guys think?
What you think, Have?
Um, yes and no, because I was just talking about this with my pops after we watched the game. Like, a lot of the times you see young teams and like newer coaches to the program, they win, they build, and here comes the organization. Like, all right, let's bring in some new people.
Right.
We can't. You've got us as far as possible. So now we gotta bring in some vets. We gotta bring in some old heads that actually been here and get us over the hump. So I don't know. I don't know. This is a tough one because the Hornets they're like scrap. They're like weird good. It's very sloppy. It's very like I'm gonna take what you give me. Like they don't really have besides LaMelo and I guess Miles Bridges and Khan on a good day. They don't really have like a 5-star out there, like a superstar. So I don't know.
Mm, interesting. What would you say Lamelo is then?
Okay, I'm a big LaMelo fan, but I don't think he's a superstar just yet. I think it's like a star. And if this keeps going how it's going, a superstar in the making. I would say that.
Mm, okay, I like that. I like that. What do you think,
Um,
Chris?
yeah. So have you forgot one major piece, maybe the biggest piece, Brandon Miller.
Mm,
Brandon Miller is
Hmm.
freaking outstanding and having a stellar season, stellar career. He's averaging 20.2. He's actually leading them in scoring, averaging 5 rebounds. Him and LaMelo's stats are almost identical, obviously outside of the assists, which LaMelo leads at 7.1. But Brandon is efficient. He's talented. On that wing, man, he is something to deal with. So I love the fact I really feel like they have four. You got Brandon Miller, LaMelo. Obviously, Miles Bridges is just always been stable and kind of the heart of that team. And on the young rookie, I mean, obviously we all had him maybe like even for the rookie of the year. So you got four guys that are all young, all playing at a high level, all have room to improve. I just really think they just need to keep this core group together,
Hmm.
get some culture. So I think the playoffs would be huge for them. They make the play, if they get 7 games, 5 games, whatever it is, even if they lose in the first round, just getting that experience in the playoffs can now start building culture. And so next year, you add a few pieces, not necessarily stars. I would just go with this group and let them continue to grow. Maybe you bring some leadership in there, some really good veterans, and some incredible role players. But I think the future could look very bright for this Hornets team if they continue to develop with these guys, don't have any major injuries, and just have some leadership pieces in that locker room.
Okay, so when you're looking at this team, I know you brought up Brandon Miller, and I love his game too. I love Lamelo's game in totality, but when you look at someone that you need to close out games with, are you going with Brandon Miller or Lamelo?
LaMelo. I'm going LaMelo.
I mean, the ball needs. I agree with that. The ball needs to be in Lamelo's hand,
Hmm.
but I'm leaning towards the ball needs to be in Lamelo's hand, right? Because he's going to be able to get everybody involved, and he has multiple threat, because obviously he can score, but the way he passes the ball is exceptional. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lean towards running sets or running a play to get the ball to Brandon Miller for that shot. I
Mm,
think when you're bringing it up, yes, Melo with the ball, run the set to free Brandon Miller open or get him an ISO. I think that's the option down the stretch.
I don't think so. If you look at the last 3 minutes, last 2.5 minutes of that game, they were hunting the three and could not get anything. Brandon Miller couldn't do anything. Now, granted, he was hunting a specific shot, but I didn't like it has to be in LaMelo's hand. We agree on that. And I think he could get them open. So if he's taking the open shot, I'm cool with that. I don't think they should run sets for him. I don't think they would. I don't think they would, not late game. They couldn't get done without LaMelo.
I mean, definitely you want to go with a high screen pick and roll with LaMelo and see what that has, see what type of action you got going on coming out of that, because Melo's going to make the right play. But I don't know, weak side pin down action, or I don't know. I just think that you have some options, right? You got options. You got some guys that can make some things happen. But if you're looking for a mid-range shot, I think Brandon Miller is a little bit more efficient. We could check the numbers on it, but if I'm running and I need two, I just need a bucket. A lot gonna come out of LaMelo. He gonna make the right play for sure. But if I'm just running a set trying to get somebody a shot, I believe Brandon Miller is the guy if you're running a set to get an individual a shot. Now, if you just we wide open, clock running down, team backpedaling, it's in transition, it's not a half court set, and we just in the flow, Melo with the ball, high screen, pick and roll, see what the defense get you. But listen, you can't go wrong with either one of those options. But I think putting the coach in a situation where he has a few options is a great thing.
How many times this year was Melo benched in the clutch? I know that's for probably defensive things. Does anyone have that number? Because I know that was a narrative this year.
We have to Google it.
Look at the back office. Somebody from the back office got to give us that.
Yeah.
I know they did that in consistent games, and that's why it was brought up. But reason I say that is because I know against Miami they did that just a little bit, not for offense, but they did it for defensive sets. Which you've seen that before with a lot of teams that need to stop a quick bucket. So you take call timeout, take out whoever the liability, if you want to use that word, would be. And I know they don't with Melo. So I only say that to say, do you think it's possible in a game like tonight, right, for a playoff spot, that it's not LaMelo that runs that, but it could be someone like a Kobe White and a Brandon Miller pick and roll?
I don't know. I just always believe you should, if you're gonna go down, you gotta go down with your best guy, with the face of your team. Like, you can't, as a coach, go into the locker room and then try to give a speech and be okay with, damn, I didn't even try to get it in my guy's hand.
Yeah, I agree with you, Have. That's cool in the flow of the game, but you also can potentially, exactly how Have is saying, you lose the locker room from the standpoint if you have LaMelo being such a personality, and then it's the clutch. Even now, if it worked, where everybody happy, whatever it is, but you could lose the locker room if you run that and it doesn't work. Yep. No disrespect, it's just gonna be like, Coach, why we go with that set?
Especially with a team, it looks like to me everyone on that team knows their role. Like, nobody is out there trying to be someone they're not. So if they all know their roles, I'm pretty sure they're okay with LaMelo having that shot. So now you look at your coach like, why the hell we ain't get him a shot?
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it's worked till up until now. So I like it. I like it a lot, and I love that answer. So thank you for that. Do y'all want to touch on Melo grabbing Bam's leg, that situation at all? Okay. The only part of that I do want to touch on is the thoughts on Nick Young calling him a clown, saying he's always been a clown and will always be a clown.
I'm gonna let the video rock real quick.
Oh, you don't have it, Junior?
Yeah, he does. I'm watching it. All right. We kind of got to touch on it real quick. I ain't gonna say too much. It's obvious, but look, the momentum does not help. The momentum does not help. Bam is already falling back. I'm not saying it was clean. It was very dirty. The momentum does not help. Like, it's falling back. You get swung through. You're definitely gonna fall harder than you would have if he tried to do that while you're standing up. Nobody has liked LaMelo since high school. I've argued for LaMelo's case. since he was at Chino, because people see the noise around him, his father, and they just don't like him for whatever reason. But basketball wise, like, I think that's a very unfair statement. I don't know what people have. He didn't take the traditional route, so it's already disrespectful to the OGs in the game. They think, oh nah, you're not really it. You have to go to 15 different preps and overseas and create a league for yourself. But if he wasn't NBA talent, then he wouldn't be in the NBA. Like, he wouldn't be there if he didn't belong there. So I think that's unfair, especially coming from someone like Nick Young, where you were known for being that in the league.
Yeah. Let me stop you there because the script was wrong by whoever did it. It's Nick Wright.
Okay.
Yeah. So
all right. All right. Fair. Nick Wright. That's old boy with the beard, with the luscious hair.
Yeah.
I can't stand Nick Wright, but go ahead. I can't stand Nick Wright. He's so annoying. He's another one of those guys that I feel like semi knows what they're talking about, but really doesn't. So kind of goes with the flow. Whatever's happening, he's gonna agree with.
I didn't have anything on this.
I think Have summed it up really, really well.
She normally does.
Momentum and of the play definitely added something to it. And I think she summed it up very well about the perception of LaMelo. Mm-hmm. I like LaMelo. I think you need people with personalities. His teammates love him. I think you're right. There's always been a lot following him. And I think Have summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, real quick. On top of the fact that they didn't like him because of the non-traditional route, they then hoped he would struggle. That was the narrative when he was coming in the league. He didn't struggle. Then they had to turn it into, okay, you don't play winning basketball. Now they got to say something. They got nothing else. They got to pull something. So that's what I feel this is. Like, he's not a clown. What does that even mean? No, he's not.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. How old is LaMelo? 24?
How old am I? 25? Yeah, I think he's 24, 25, one of those. I think we're the same age. LaMelo Ball.
And in hindsight, he's been in the league a long time, and he's still so young, in my opinion. So would you say, despite the experience in the league, that, I mean, this is he's still young, like as a young human, young man. So like, I mean, this could be still like a low growing pain. Like you're gonna make mistakes at the age. Like, so I think this is one. I'm not gonna say it's a good look for LaMelo to do that, but I'm also not gonna sit here and say that like utilizing that to come after Melo. Yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to say is like LaMelo isn't the first fucking superstar, in my opinion, to have instances like this, to go through some growing pains. So
exactly,
that clown energy is crazy. And plus, too, then we're ignoring the fact, if you're going to always call him a clown, that sounds like a personal attack. Like, keep that about basketball. That's one of my things that I hate when media personalities do, is when they're attacking character, because we're not going to sit here and pretend like the Hornets haven't always been bad and LaMelo isn't dropping 30 and 20 and damn near average a triple-double one season, and now, helped this team get into, what is now potentially going to be their first playoff appearance in so long. So damn near carrying an organization for a long time, and the narratives around that. So I appreciate that aspect of Melo, but just keep it basketball. That's all I'm saying. With that being said, I want to transition a little bit into something a little bit more positive, right? So in relation to Bam, let's turn it over, and Bam and LaMelo, let's turn it over to the best fucking player in the WNBA, A'ja Wilson. Ashley was supposed to take this. Chris, do you want to take this to set up for Hev?
No, let's let Hev take this.
All right.
You want to take it and answer?
Yeah, I'll answer. Bam's partner in crime, A'ja Wilson. A'ja has signed a 3-year, $5 million Supermax to return to the Las Vegas Aces. It is the largest deal in WNBA history, and it is fully guaranteed. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Does this new contract solidify A'ja as the greatest WNBA player ever, or is it too soon? I think A'ja solidified being the greatest player after her championship, but that's just me. I was not born 30 years ago, so that's me. This is my greatest player, and that was solidified after this championship because of the whole season. Like, so I don't think it's too soon to say it. And I think basing it off the money though would be a little wrong because the women before did not even have these opportunities. Like the greats before were getting paid like 30 bands. So I think basing it off of, okay, she's getting 5 million. Now we have to call it a GOAT. No, I don't think that. I don't think that should be the case.
Yeah, I agree. We asked Ashley this question because this was brought up before around Asia. If she retired today, do you feel, and I know you kind of already say this, do you feel she's the best WNBA player ever and why?
If she retired today, 3 rings is a little, I guess a lot. It's a lot in a W.
Yeah.
I won. Who has the? Let me Google that real quick. Does anybody know that who has the most championships in the W?
I don't remember, but I know the basis that we kind of went with this around Asia was that, we're not looking at exactly how many rings, but like how dominant she was in other categories and what other individual stats she has, and
Yeah.
it was insane. Let me see.
Rebecca Brunson.
Rebecca Brunson with 5.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this is gonna move to like, okay, this is gonna be like a Kobe type vibe.
Okay.
Because remind me, who's the guy that has like 4 championships that played on the Warriors, the Raptors, ain't really do nothing? You know what I'm talking about?
Pat McCall.
Thank you.
That's
So I'm not saying Rebecca Brunson didn't do anything, but
McCall.
if you are gonna win 3 championships on the same team that you were drafted to, the new team that came in, like that's a little more weight than 5 on different teams.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then-
Rebecca's not in the conversation, right? She's,
Yeah.
you're just a product of your environment. But you also have Cynthia Cooper with 4, Cheryl Swoops with 4, Tina Thompson with 4, and Maya Moore with 4, Sue Bird with 4. So
No, I think if you retire today, I think if she retired today with the 3 rings she has the MVP, she has the defensive player of the year. I think that's what separates her right there, the defensive player of the years. Then you have the Olympics, you bring that in. It'd be hard to argue she's not the GOAT. Like, who are you going to argue is with those accolades and then her impact on the game as well?
Yeah.
Explain what the impact on the game means.
Okay, so like I'm not her position, but she definitely changed the way a 5 and a 4 play in the league. You saw before her, you had Brittany Griner, and that was more back to the basket, simple turns, dunks, a traditional 5. She came in as a 5 back to the basket and continued to grow her game, step it back out, playing like a stretch 4. Now she's jabbing, crossing, tweening, threes. Like it's looking
crazy.
Huh?
Our post game is crazy.
Exactly. It's looking like jab Melo over there, not like that guard athletic, but just where she's able to score. And then like you can see her competitiveness is on a different level from most people. Like she really wants to be the best when she's out there. And that shows. Like I watched the W for a while. I didn't see that from a lot of people. Maybe like Brianna Store early on, like she wanted to be the best every time she was out there. But Asia, every time she steps on the court, she's like proving she wants to be the best. And that's showing kids like, it's all right, bro. It's okay to be competitive and not care about nothing else but wanting to be the best person on the court. After winning for a second, that'll come if you are the best person on the court. So, and then, she's Asia Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was the fact that, I know that we talked about this before, but just to reiterate, the fact that she's the only player in basketball history, both in W and the NBA, to win scoring title MVP, DPOY, and Finals MVP in the same season. Like that's crazy dominance from a basketball standpoint.
Yeah,
You think she's?
Yeah.
You think she's one of the most, if not the most, but one of the most complete basketball players in the W to ever play?
I was literally about to say that means you are the best player in every single aspect on the court when you were on the court. If you're sweeping awards, most complete. Yeah, no, because if you're gonna say someone's most complete, you have to look at the assist. You just have to look at those type of things. She doesn't need to have that to her game though, so that's why I don't care. But nah, probably not most complete.
I love it. Cool. Asia. Appreciates Miko. Yeah, we
mean,
talked about that. Anything
yeah.
else on that? Yeah.
No, not really. Oh yeah. The money. Let's take it back real quick to the bread. When they had signed Jackie Young to the 1 year, I was surprised. I had said on air, I don't think they're gonna be able to sign Asia for like 3 years, 3+ years. And they sure did with where did they get this money from? They sure
They
did.
talked about that. Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest surprise. I did not see this coming at all. I thought she would have took like a semi pay cut because I couldn't see them affording multiple $1 million contracts and then a multi-year $1 million contract. And they did just that. So I mean, I keep saying it, shout out to the Aces. They don't care what the team has going on. They really don't care about the drama that's going around the team. They just want to win, and they're making sure they bring every single player back to help them win. You don't see that a lot from teams.
That's true. Especially not, that's true. I really thought they would have to compromise too. Like, to be able to pay, well, like you said, I agree with you 1,000%. Like, you're not going to be able to pay Asia that. But I was thinking, like, if you're going to pay Jackie that, and then did they already sign Chelsea Gray?
Yeah. Chelsea Gray's come back.
And she's in that $1 million range to assume.
Yeah, Chelsea Gray contract. I would assume so. What the?
And I know they did Jewel.
Where are they getting this money from? 3 million 3 years. So $1 million a year. Damn. $1 million a year. Nah, they want to win. This is NBA teams. I need you to take a look at this format, and you have way more money. If you want to win, you got to bring people back, and you got to pay them. It's that simple. You don't need to be breaking up teams that just won or that are winning. Bring them back.
I see it now. So they have Asia at 1.6. We're looking at let's look at 2026. Yeah. Asia at 1.6, Jackie at 1.4, Chelsea at 1.2, and then Jewel at 1.3. That's still only like not a lot. That's 2. That's 3 right there. 4, 5. Damn. They don't have much to give to the rest of that roster. But the cap space is what, $7 million. So I think they got like $1.5 million left.
Look, the rest of the roster understand. I'm trying to win a ring.
I'm trying to win.
That's what I'm trying. Like, you're paying a rookie that you're not playing. $7 million on a rookie contract. If you don't drop that down and go pay the people that want to stay here so you could keep winning, look, what do I know? I don't know.
All good stuff. I love it. Chris, from a financial standpoint, do you think this was a smart thing to do, to give 75, damn near 80% of that cap to your four core?
Yeah, I mean, NBA does the same model. It used to be a league full of mid-level players, and then a few superstars. But now it's become a league of I don't know what you want to categorize them as, but max or close to max type players.
That's true.
Literally your mid-level exception, which can be broken up in maybe 1 or 2 players, but typically it's one guy, and minimum contracts and or rookies. So it's a similar format that they use in the NBA at this point. Is just kind of where it's literally the haves and the have-nots for the most part. I mean, that's the NBA model. Most teams operate that way. So they just follow in suit, and it definitely makes sense.
Do you think, though, doing that, and I know you just had some similarities there with the NBA, do you think following that model of majority of your money going to your superstar talent like that, does that make you vulnerable in certain instances, like especially for like injuries? Like if a Chelsea goes down, Jackie goes down, Asia goes down.
Yeah, but
money for you.
It does. It definitely does. But I think most teams are they're all in. They're not like trying to build great team balance like you do in high school and AAU and things of that nature. College, they're like most teams nowadays on the professional side are top heavy, right? If we don't have our stars getting it done, then you always have the built-in excuse of, well, injuries. I mean, how many times do you hear that? Even if we talk about playoffs and predictions and things of that nature, most of us start off with bar injury, they should be ABC, blah, blah, blah. So injuries is always a part of it.
Mhm.
And I think that most teams are built that way. Now, I will say, I will do another comment on this in regards to the W. And this is random and I could be out of bounds. It's just my opinion. With the level of stardom of the collegiate players that are entering the W, and that's been a trend for at least, have you correct me, but at least maybe the last 3 years,
Mhm.
elevated because of NIL, and so an abundance of exposure and things of that nature. I think from a branding standpoint and overall financial gain, that it is important for teams, especially your better teams, to encourage and be very supportive of paying these rookies that are coming to the league already with a fan base that's following them. What do you think about that, Ed? What's your thoughts on that?
Mm. Yeah. Because now they are bringing more to franchises, especially if we talk about let's narrow it a little down, talking about like the top 7 people. They're bringing a lot more now than just their talent. It's like the NBA where Cooper is bringing more than just his talent. You're
Right.
bringing the face, you're bringing the name, you're bringing the hype. AZ's bringing the face, the name, the hype. So yeah, I think paying them a little more and investing in that right out of college is a good idea. And then also,
I
you
mean,
made
I'm
the
thinking more, this is more W
Mhm.
than on the NBA side. Like, I don't think the guys really come with an enormous amount of fan base
Mm.
traveling with them from college, like on the women's side. I think the women's game has grown significantly um, with the young people that have entered, recently, coming with their fan. I think it's helped the W's game significantly more. The impact has been, we talk about CC's impact has been enormous coming over to
Yeah.
the W, right? The anticipation, the question marks of, veterans already in the league talking about when she gets there, or, we got more in this league besides CC and things of that nature. So there was just such an enormous amount of positivity, if you will, or fan base. We can just kind of leave it at that. That was coming over with with the battle with CC, and then obviously LSU and things of that nature. So I see it a little bit more with the W, and I'm just curious because obviously we have a new group that just got drafted.
Yeah.
How does that affect those that were just drafted right now? And who did the Aces draft? Did they draft a player?
They probably had one draft. I'm not even playing. One draft pick. I don't
Okay.
see why they would have more.
Okay, so they didn't. So in their case, they're not one of the teams that needed to or looked to invest in that rookie
Mm-mm.
because we're going to just continue to win, and we have the MVP. We can just continue that route. But some of these other teams, especially these teams that don't really have an identity,
Yeah.
I think that it was very important for them to have, somebody from that draft helping them establish an identity and things of that nature. But you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right about the fan bases because, as a fan now of the game, no longer a player, we follow these people for 4 years. We have like we're now attached. It's more attachment. Like, all right, we've been following you for 4 or 5 years, some
Right.
even 6. Why would I choose to let go now? Now that you've moved on, no, I'm going to follow you where you're going. And that's definitely why you see more of like a fan base influx following the college athletes going into the pros.
Right.
Um, I I don't know if it affects them necessarily in a bad way, but it might affect them, like they have more riding on them than just their professional team's fan base. Like, because the same way the fans have attachment to the players have attachment to the fans. Like,
Okay.
this is my core fan base. It's like an artist. Think about any entertainer. Like, this is my core fan base. I don't want to let them down
Right.
before I even let the Aces fans down or whoever, the Dream fan down. Like, I don't want
Right.
to let my core group down. So I think they just have a lot more to think about rather than it being negative. That might be a motivator for some people. Like, I want to do good for the people that's been following me since my freshman year.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah. You had mentioned, you had mentioned something. Oh, damn it. What the hell did you say?
About the we were talking about the Aces. Who did they get?
Yes.
A rookie?
About teams committing. And, I think in the women's game, you see that more often with teams just going full throttle because, a woman's body is not going to go as long as a man can. And, women in the league, you see it all the time. They go on to try to have families. So it's like, I want to win when I have you. Like, I want to do this now before, we get too old in basketball terms, because old in basketball terms is young in every other profession. So
yeah, facts. Young in life,
young
in everything.
Yeah,
I like that. All right, we got while we waiting on seeing if D coming back, let's go ahead and move along. Let's jump into this. Let's jump into this 65. So the NBA and NBPA have ruled in favor for Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham due to their injuries for the 65-game award rule. Both are now eligible for the 2025-26 season honors. And it's crazy because we just did our first teams on the last pod on who we thought would make first team based on who was eligible. So caveat there. Did the NBA get this right by making this exception for Luka and Cade? I guess I'll give my opinion right away. And or have you come on with it? Give me your thought.
you go first.
So I've always said with this subject that this is it's a team union thing. That's always been my thing. And so the most important thing here was that the governors and the union came together and they made this decision. So when they created this rule, it was collective, both of them, bargaining from each side. And so for them to come together and come to this agreement, I think they 100% got it right. And ironically, it's funny because it helps the governors, owners, if you will, more technically than the players, because essentially what you've done is you've allowed the players that should get it to get it, which is fantastic. But on the flip side, what you've also done is you've removed the opportunity for some other guys to creep up into there, like Luka and Cade and these guys. They max guys. They're going to continue. They're going to be max guys. They're going to be Supermax guys, regardless, right? They don't make it this year. They're going to always make other particular awards to be in that category. But now what you may have done is a few guys that were able to creep up into first, second, or third team are now pushed back down that probably were not eligible for that max type award. So ultimately, I think they got it right, but I think that's that's how this thing is going to kind of play out in regards to the players. What do you think about that? Have you think that's right? That's wrong? What do you think? What do you think the motivation behind this was?
I think they got this right. We're on the same page. I think they got this right. Look at the reasons. We're talking about a collapse lung and someone's child being born. I think those are two very valid reasons to miss some games. We had touched on it on a podcast before. I just think you have to look at, okay, you still missed some other games, and what were those reasons? That's my biggest asterisk with this eligibility being given. Like, you played 64, okay, you missed 2 games, that's 66. what happened to the other 16?
Right.
So that's my issue. But this is fine. They got it right. For the awards part, you're not gonna be too happy with what I have to say.
Go.
I think the MVP is Big Horse Guy. So it's just like, what does this matter to me? It doesn't matter that they're eligible, because the most important award that both of them want to be eligible for, I don't think they're gonna get it.
I think it's first team too, though. That's very important for their contracts.
And then the first
We
team
talked about that.
situation.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, the
Oh,
first
okay.
team situation. This is tough, because you have a first team when you have your top 5 MVP candidates.
Mhm.
That's your first team right there. That ain't a bad first team.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, fine, give it to them. I think they got it right on this one. I told you my only like reservation, but this is absolutely fine with me. They got it right. As long as the MVP doesn't go to either one of them, I'm fine.
Yeah. So I guess the follow-up question on that is, does this make the 65 game rule lose its complete meaning? You know, and or how will they deal with this moving forward? I guess the question is this going to affect things moving forward? Are there going to always be these exceptions moving forward? Will they make a change moving forward? What do you guys think how this will play out, you know, from the summer moving forward into next year? An adjustment to the rule or not? Or what do you think?
I think it does make the rule lose some value, some credit. I won't be surprised if over the summer we see a tweak to the rule, a more concrete definition to it. That would help, because we talk about a collapsed lung as it is an anomaly. Like, it's like, wow, but at the end of the day, every injury is out of your control.
Mhm.
So you look back last year, whoever didn't make the cut because of injuries, it's like, okay, but that wasn't in my control. Why didn't I get a pass? Or shit, we didn't even think about appealing because maybe we didn't think we had a chance. So I think they definitely have to edit the rule, because you give these, all right, now you're eligible. Why? It's a collapsed lung. It's a broken ankle. They fall into the same category of out of the player's controls.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I think the rules are the rules. You know what I mean? Once you start going down, making adjustments, it's like you say, Hev, it's a slippery slope. It's like, okay, if they make an adjustment and they move it to 60, then some years following, somebody's going to fall with 59. And then, hey, man, I was right there. You know, this happened. You know, should be an exception. It's foul, foul, foul. And don't get me wrong, the league is like that. There's multiple rules. I mean, you get a technical foul, you can foul for that technical foul to be overturned, you know, afterwards. So that's always going to be in place. And I think there will always be the opportunity to relook at a situation. They even file claims on we won the game. Like, you know, the teams even can file after a game and ask the league to look at it. Hey, we won the game. Look, there was 15 seconds that the ref didn't do this or made a wrong call, so on and so forth. But I think they probably need to sit down and have, or at least attempt to have, more of a definitive, like, hey, we're going to move it back, and it'll be a negotiation. NBA league, what if we bring it back to 60, but no exceptions? And then the Players Association would have to agree to that. That's the only way I see this thing going. It's either it stays as it is and you just foul, or they taper it back and then they remove the opportunity to file for an exception. Hey, if we go 60 games, no exceptions, then the union themselves, all the players have to agree and stamp that and sign off of that this is something that you cannot file an exception for. Is now 60 games, and that's it moving forward. Something like that, maybe, potentially, but I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Oh, do you got anything?
D, you want to jump in on this next topic?
The next one?
Yeah.
Curry. Steph put on amazing performances in LA home. And obviously the Warriors have the Suns this evening to see if they get a playoff spot. After the performance we saw between Draymond and Steph, do you think they'll be able to follow up and beat a team like the Suns tonight?
Oh, I would like to say Draymond Green deserves a public apology from everyone on planet Earth. That's all I want to say. That's it. Everyone on planet Earth needs to apologize to him talking about he's overrated, the most overrated superstar. He's not that important to the Warriors. Blah, blah, blah. Apologies. That's it. You can't bet against Steph. If Steph is on the court and you bet against him, you just don't know basketball. I would always go with Steph before anybody else. And then who they play? Who do they play? The Suns?
Suns,
Yeah.
They can't bet against Steph. You don't know what he's capable of. This man just he just starts seeing shots falling. It's just over for everyone else. Like, I think if Draymond has an assignment of either Jalen Green, Devin Booker, or oh boy, Dylan Brooks, if he has one of those assignments that can shut them down completely, I think they could win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Hev. I'm never going against Steph. You know, come on now. Draymond's a Spartan dog, so I love my dog. But I like the Suns team. I like the Suns team. I like their versatility. I like their toughness. I like their three-point shooting. I think it's going to be a great game, but it's just nostalgia. Call it whatever you want to call it. I ain't trying to go against Steph. So yes, to answer your question, D, I think definitely have enough to beat the Suns. I'm hoping and looking for another really good game. I think the playoffs have been really the play-in games have been really, really good. They've been exciting. They've been competitive, and they've jump-started this this playoff season with a bang. So I'm excited about that for sure. And I think it'll be a little bit of gunslinging, right? I think it'll be a good one. I love Dylan Brooks. I love the matchup potentially where, and they don't necessarily check each other, but just the personas, right, of Dylan and Draymond both being in that game, both being physical, tough, heart and soul type dudes. Both, Dylan is having a hell of a year. He's having one of his best seasons of his career. So never one to back down. Draymond is going to be the type, in my opinion, that's going to kind of get hyped up for that matchup, if you will, per se, even if it's on switches and things of that nature. So I think it's going to be an exciting game. But, man, as much as I love the talent that the Suns have, Steph is still Steph. I mean, there's just separation between him and Devin Booker and others. I think DB's from home. He's a Michigan guy. But Steph, man, Jesus, it's just, you just never know, right? The guy can run off 6, 7, 8 threes at a time unexpected and just change the narrative in 2 seconds. So I'm not going to go against Steph, but I do like this matchup, and I really like this Suns team.
I like the matchup too. I've been thinking about this since the game ended, and it's like there's been a lot of narratives around Draymond and then the Warriors in totality this whole year, and it's been crazy, right? But like when you look at that game, and I know it's just a play-in game, but it's like as long as you have Steph and Draymond, like they've had moving pieces. KD left, Clay left, Iguodala left. Like they're really the only two foundational pieces from that championship run, that dynasty, right? And to me, it's like as long as you have those two, you'll always have a chance. Like you can't game plan for that type of connection that 14 years together has built. Like I kept watching that play, that final shot from Steph, where Steph dumps it off to Draymond, comes off the top of the key from the right side, gives behind the back pass. As soon as he does, he turns around for the three on the left hand side, and it's like just to be able to, one, know that that's what you want to do in the moment. Two, for Draymond to recognize that, like, now I got to dump it back to him, and then have all that space. It's like you can't plan for that. And so that's what I always think, like, those two together for me is, I know people talk about, like, and this is far-fetched, but you got Kobe and Shaq, you got D Wade and Bron, MJ and Scott, et cetera, et cetera. But, like, Draymond and Steph for me. I know Draymond's not the most talented player, but that duo is an insane duo to me just because of the chemistry that they've built and to be able to play with each other. And so I love it a lot. I really do. I got if we're addressing the initial question, I got Warriors tonight. I just don't think the Suns, while talented, I don't think that, they played well enough together for me to take them over a team like the Warriors with the system and obviously Draymond and stuff. Question though for you guys regarding a specific Suns player. After after the Suns game, and I'm not saying this myself, but after the Suns game, someone came to me and said, "I think Devin Booker is at the start of his decline." Would you guys agree with that? And there's one sentence that they followed up with that, and it's not necessarily a knock. You have to also understand that Devin Booker's peak started very early at a young age, and so when you look at that aspect of it,
Yes. If he doesn't leave Phoenix, yes. It's that simple. He needs to leave Phoenix. I don't know what team wants him. I don't know if he's ever thought about it or had conversations and wasn't like, I can't imagine why he's still in Phoenix in the first place. I thought he should have left a long time ago. That's me. I don't know.
I still think he's peaking. I still think he's still at the height of his peak. From a career standpoint, he's still spot on. He's averaging 26, a little bit more than the average last year. 2 years before, he was at 27. He's still very efficient. Still 45% from the field and 33 from three. I mean, outside of that 21-22 season, I don't know if that was what was the year that they made the run to the championship? But I know he was even more efficient. I know he's 38% in that 21-22 year. Maybe his best season was the championship run. I don't know if that was 21-22 or 20-21. But just from a standpoint of leadership and pushing through and showing up in incredibly big games. We are watching a situation where it's like Dame time, right? It's like Dame. It's like we've seen him have tremendous success individually, has had a little bit of success from the standpoint of, that championship run team-wise, but we are in a situation where they need to, Suns or his individual management need to capitalize on where he's at right now. And so if that's, as Hev suggested, him moving, where his legacy can be a little bit more solidified, moving to a situation where he's actually in the hunt for a championship or going to a contender, that'd be a great move individually. Or from a team standpoint, the Suns capitalize on who he is and solidify his legacy. So his jersey will go up in the Raptors, but let his jersey go up in the Raptors one day with a championship. So do what it takes. And don't get me wrong, Matt Ishbia and that team has been, the management group they've made a lot of different moves. In the past, they've adjusted management, coaches. Matt Ishbia himself has always been all in. And now maybe they have some stability from a standpoint of management that look like they'll be there for some time. And they've finally gotten some youth, started locking in on defense, and got out of the hunt of just superstar name players, a la KD and Brad Beal, and said, all right, let's try to build a roster. So I do believe their approach now is long-term based. It is, let's create some level of culture and have some level of identity here in Phoenix. I think they have that and they're working towards that. It's like you want to hurry up, but be patient at the same time. And I know those don't technically go together, but that's where it's at. It's like they need to be patient with some pieces that they have, youth and things that they're trying to add to this roster and continue to draft and get other pieces for that identity. But it's like, man, them guys need to get better a little faster so that, as you say, Devin doesn't necessarily go into that decline and miss out on the opportunities. Long-winded response, but I think it covers it.
Shout out to, I think, Wealth Engineering. Is that Booker will just be one of them players like Charles Barkley. Obviously not that like disrespectful, but I'm not the type of person to argue chips mean everything. But these are empty stats because you're not even winning playoff series.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I'm not talking about championships. Like you would like to have one, but it's hard. So I'm not going to bash you for not having a championship, but you're not even getting playoff wins when arguably you should be. Maybe not the last year. I'm a big hater of the Bradley Beal trade situation.
Mhm.
Big hater. He was not worth whatever the hell they thought he was. He was never that, never should have did that. They never should have made him that guy on that team. Devin Booker is not going to be your Batman. He's not going to be your Steph Curry, your LeBron. He's going to be your Clay, your Kyrie. They need a Batman. There's nothing wrong with that, though. There's nothing wrong with the Robin giving you 25 a night and your Batman's 30 a night. He's not going to be the person that's going to lead you to the championship. He's going to be a part of it and a great part of it. That's how I feel.
But did they not try that bringing KD in there? I mean, yes, they brought KD and Brad, but it essentially, most people felt and thought that it was going to equate to, okay, now you get to slide over and kind of be Robin-ish, you know what I mean? Because we bring in, who's a bigger superstar than KD? And that, obviously they maybe need other pieces, but that didn't work at all. It didn't even come close to working. It was actually terrible.
I wonder, I'm not behind the scenes, but it looked like to me three guys trying to be Batman.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
I still can't understand Bradley Beal. It makes me so upset. But with KD and Devin, it looked like nobody was trying to take that second role. And whether it had to be Devin, KD, it looked like nobody was on the same page. And also, yeah, that was bad. It was really bad. And they did need some other pieces around them. They definitely did. But those two, it didn't look like anybody had a defined role. It was like, go out there and do what y'all do, which is score. And both of y'all try to score 50 a night. And that's all three.
Fucked up
Yeah.
3 elite scorers on one team. And then I think too, Chris, they had no real point guard at that time. They had D-Book trying to play the point, and you had Brad Beal trying to play the point. And I guess out of all of those, Booker would be the closest one to it. But at the same time, where he's known for scoring, he's a scorer.
Yeah.
And so there was no leadership from that aspect. And then you had the fucking big man situation there was just a lot wrong with that roster and that team.
And you talk about like this is where it comes where the players got to buy in. All right, fuck it, Bradley Beal. You're not gonna be the scorer you whatever think you are, because you're not that. You were never that. You had John Wall. Nobody wanted John Wall to score 30, so you had your opportunities. Fine. Bring up the ball and let's try to win a championship. Just take a role. Just try to win a championship. But no, nobody wants to take the role of, I'm gonna sit back for a second and I'm gonna try to help at least two of y'all do what y'all gotta do. And that's why they won with Chris Paul.
That's true. But it all went to shit too. Do you remember when Mike was their coach? Budenholzer, however it says.
Budenholzer.
And he had a whole conversation with Bradley Beal talking about, he wanted him to be more like a Drew Holiday for the Phoenix Suns. And then that kind of that shit went out the window.
But ain't Mike a championship coach?
Yeah, with the Bucks, right?
Right. So you don't think you want to listen to the championship coach?
I know. Well, so I know. We had that discussion at the time, and I agreed with him. Not in the sentiment like he's not saying like, "Yo, play like him." He's saying like, bring certain aspects to the game right now, like a Drew Holiday, who's to me one of the most. I got a whole video coming on Drew Holiday, by the way, but one of the most adaptable players out there, and that didn't work.
Look at him now.
Brad still, don't ever disrespect me. Look at him. I know. Matter of fact, since we're on the same page with that, you and I gotta do that video.
Look at him now.
I know.
I don't know, man. That's the Suns and Matt. I'm not even gonna talk too much on him because I think he's one of the better owners out there. But you talk a lot, and then you made that team. You made that team. Like, you were okay with that team. You gave the okays and passed the yeses. So it's like, you're not really building for a championship. I know you are so against tanking, but you're not really building for wins either. You're like stuck in limbo. So I don't know. And also, I look at the matchup. If we go back to one of the main questions, the Warriors or the Suns, I think the Warriors have a better chance against the Thunder, even though they probably won't win. They probably won't win a series, but I think the Suns get fucking smoked.
Yeah. I like that. I do want to touch on this one right here, though, because I do like this, and I agree with this in totality, just because of who they brought up, like Wemby. Yeah,
It's a comment.
I'm not gonna say, huh?
It's a comment.
Yeah,
Or oh, okay.
yeah, this one. Booker's window for championship is over. Do we agree with that statement, considering the talent in the league, especially in the West, the teams that have come together?
I don't agree with that statement. I don't think his window for a championship is over at all. I think that the league is very fluid. It's always changing. It's always opportunity. There's always movement. So for any player, your window of opportunity for championship is never over. I think that he's still A or B guy on any team in this league. And so the Suns, if he's still with the Suns, are they a championship this year? No. Can they make different changes and be in a different place next year or the year after? Absolutely. I don't see him on a decline. Obviously, you're getting older. Is he ascending? I don't think he's no longer ascending, but I think he's tapered off, and I think he's at a great place. So no, I think he'd be an incredible piece to any other team outside of Phoenix, but along with Phoenix, that's looking to make that championship run. Listen, Detroit was at the bottom of the barrel and could be arguably a favorite right now, depending on where you're at with things. So, yeah, the league. I mean, the league is fluid. We talk about the Lakers all the time. Oh, the Lakers. Lakers haven't really done anything since the bubble, but every year you got a whole army of individuals thinking that, yo, this is the year we're gonna push for a championship, and they haven't even come close. So, yeah, this league, there's always a chance, always an opportunity. We're always talking about the Nuggets. Yo, what are the Nuggets going to do? They got one championship and really haven't been that close ever since. So,
but they have one.
Yeah, they have one.
Just like
they
the
have
Bucks.
one. Yeah, they have Bucks aren't close anymore. So, Is it an opportunity? Yeah. I mean, things can change in a whim. I mean, you make two really impressive moves, and you've gone from, a bottom feeder playoff team to a legitimate candidate to win it. You know what I mean? So I think that statement is out of bounds. I think it's nowhere near over for him. I think he's still, he's not sitting in the best position, right? Because he's been to the finals before, and now there's been a significant decline, and they've tried it with superstars, and that didn't work. And now they're trying to figure out culture, and they've had multiple coaches and multiple changes and things of that nature within the organization. But all that being said, he's still playing great. He does at least have a running mate right now that is not concerned about his role, you know what I mean, and understands his role and is having the best season of his career. So there's an opportunity to add and build some pieces and figure out what they're going to do moving forward with free agency, the draft, and things of that nature. So this could be a pivotal summer in it. I think we'll find out. If they don't make great moves, then I think you could start having that narrative about, yo, when Devin Booker gonna get out of there, and maybe come with a little bit more pressure.
Sounds optimistic.
I think it's a little unfair, Chris. The teams you like kind of brought up. I mean, you're talking LeBron. Any team, fucking put LeBron and Luka on the damn Trailblazers. We're gonna start talking. All right, the Trailblazers got a chance to win. The Bucks got Giannis. All right, they got a chance to win. You got Jokic and Murray on the Nuggets. They have a chance. Like just the teams you brought up. But I'm gonna say it again. I think his window is closing on the Suns. That. If you are in the league, however many players, you have a chance to win a championship. I don't care. That's just the truth of it. His window is closing on the Suns, though. He has to get off the Suns because it's just been proven that they're not. I don't know if it's him telling him, I don't want to be B. I don't want to be B. But it's been proven they're just not going to build a roster that's going to be able to win a championship. So leave. I don't know why he won't leave. Leave.
I mean, that's my only thing. The only reason I said it sounds optimistic is because I'm just looking at, let's say 4 teams. If we just total up to 4 teams, do you think the Suns can build in the next couple of years a better roster than OKC Thunder or a new San Antonio Spurs, or on the eastern side of Pistons or Boston Celtics? You think it's possible for them to build a team that can compete with those 4?
Hell no.
Yes.
What?
I don't think so.
Yes.
No, but
It only takes a few moves and then everything changes. I mean, let me, you know what, you're gonna make me pull up their cap.
No, this is true. It really does only take a few moves for a team to be a contender.
Thank you.
They're just not going to make the few moves, and then the few moves are not going to come to them. I can't. What are you selling? Like, you look at the teams that's in the West, they're not selling anything. You're telling me you're going to jump from 8 or 7 to 4 next year? You can't sell that to people. The 5th team could sell that. Like the Houston Rockets could sell that to somebody. Like, come to me. We're right there.
All right, look at this. Let's talk about something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
DB makes $57 million next year.
Jesus
right?
Christ.
Jalen Green is at $36 million.
Jesus.
And them the heavy hitters. But look at this. Do you know Dylan Brooks is $19 million contract?
That's going to
after
go
the
up.
season.
That's going to go up.
$19 million next year. $19 million.
That's
That
it.
is $19 million. That is a freaking bargain. I have no idea who his management is, but they better work on an extension fucking fast. Because
Highway robbery,
19
damn.
million? He's at $19 million next year. He's $21 million this year. He's $19 million. So he makes less next year. Okay.
Damn.
He's at $19 million next year. You got Bracy Wright and Royce O'Neal, 18 and 10. And then the rest of the roster is, Malawach, the young boy. I think that's a great investment, great pick. He's like 19 years old. But outside of that, man, you got tremendous amount of movement. You got first of all, you have a bunch of expiring contracts, and then just different pieces, that can just be waived, released, traded, whatever. So if you're going all in with Jalen Green, and he's been injured and been playing and then injured and then playing, I don't know what's up with that. Like, I haven't watched him enough to understand where are you at with that. But he's only 24 years old, Hev. He's 24.
Who?
Jalen Green.
Oh,
Jalen
yeah.
Green is 24 years old. So I wouldn't give up on him. I'm definitely like, what?
No.
We still may be able to see the best basketball. Dylan Brooks, you got on a freaking, man, you got him on like a wall. What's the dollar store? You got him on a dollar store contract, right? You fucking saving like crazy with him. What are we talking about, man? They go add another piece or pieces, and you be smart in the draft. Like, if it was me, I'm doubling down and I'm going heavy in the draft. I'm gonna get me 2, if not 3 guys. I like this draft. If you can get in the lottery of this draft, I don't know if they got a pick that they're picking, but if you can make a trade or spend some money to get in the lottery, you're going to get a piece that you got enough guys in this draft that they can contribute right away. Point guards, forwards, you got a shit ton of talent, at least in the top 12. Guys that can contribute right away. That would be huge. You're coming in with youth and talent right away. Maybe you make a trade or 2, or look at free agency. We can pull up who's available, who's unrestricted free agents this year. But you even got to be aggressive with a restricted free agent. The toughest thing about restricted free agency is teams don't want to allocate that money for a restricted free agent because there's like that 3-day hold where the other team can match. And then free agency is going so fast, you don't want to like not have that money available to try to get somebody else. But I'm saying be aggressive. Hey, put some pressure on some other teams. Go after some heavy hitters, restricted free agents, of course, unrestricted, and put yourself out there like, yo, come on over here. But I would definitely double down in the draft and see if I can get at least one in that top. I would try to get in that top 5, but worst case scenario, top 10, and continue to build. And if you can get a star to come out that way, it's a bunch of stars. Like we're already debating about who's going to make first, second, third team, who's getting screwed because now Luka and Cade are back. So somebody's going to miss out on maybe third team all NBA. It got to be at least 30 guys in the league that you can pitch to that, like, if you can get one of those over here, either via trade or free agency, things can change drastically real fast, man. I'm just telling you.
A few things before we address the chat. This foolishness. I'm not asking the Suns to give up on anybody. I'm asking Devin Booker to give up on the Suns. I'm asking him to give up on them, not the other way around. Like, I want him to say, I'm done. I don't want no more of y'all. That's it.
I can't be a part of that, I can't be a part of that, okay? Okay, me personally, I can't be, but continue with your take.
He's wealth engineering before, they lost the plot completely. Said, like, what Batman do you get to go to Phoenix? And that's where I'm at. That's why I want him to leave. Because you're not a Batman, so nobody's going to judge you for championship chasing for joining a Batman somewhere else.
Right.
You're a puzzle piece that's going to fit perfect into somebody's puzzle. You're not the puzzle, so, like, it's okay. Go be with somebody else. I just think the league is getting harder. I don't think I hate saying the East is easier than the West, because I really sometimes don't believe that. I just think if you're not the top 5 in the West, it's fuck-ass chance. You don't got a chance for nothing. So go somewhere in the East, maybe. Go over to the East and not the Knicks. I don't know what the hell they talking about. They're losing their minds. But, yeah, go join somebody. Go get the Hawks over the hump. Go get the Hornets over the hump or something. You know what I'm saying? Go do that. Give up on the Suns.
Darian, before you go, let me just give you some random names of free agents. Okay. Some restricted, some probably will, the teams will double down on them and go from there. But here are some potential options. Number one, LeBron James is unrestricted. Trae Young has a player option. James Harden has a player option. He typically always takes the option and opts out. Zach LaVine, Kevin Durant, we're not going to mention. Kawhi Leonard. Well, Austin Reeves is did they sign? Did they already extend him?
Not yet.
They already extend Austin?
Oh, wait, did they?
Who'd you say before Kawhi? Who'd you say before Kawhi?
Before Kawhi, I said KD, but we can't have KD come back. Zach LaVine, James Harden, Trae Young, LeBron, Jonathan Kuminga, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Duren with the Pistons, Draymond Green has a player option, CJ McCollum, unrestricted, Chris Middleton, Porzingis, Torrey Eason, Mark Williams.
Who
am I missing?
No, I'm not unrestricted free agents. I just out of everybody you listed, the only person that you didn't list that I thought came to mind that would be a good fit that doesn't necessarily have to, because this is a scoring team, right? Like, again, it goes back to like the KD Brad situation. You still got Jalen Green, who's a high volume scorer. Devin Booker's a high volume scorer now. I'm sure Dylan Brooks, with him coming off a season he did, probably wants to score next year. So I'm thinking who could complement both sides of the floor that gives them a big man presence, which they really haven't had in years, but doesn't need to be like them, and that would be Giannis. I think that's really a piece that could change the franchise, but could also complement them in ways that everyone else, Zach LaVine's not going to work. He's a scorer, right? Almost everyone you listed except for Bron and KD,
Jalen Duren
wouldn't work.
No,
and Mark Williams,
no.
bigs. Like, why not a big presence?
You need
I
a
mean,
bad
Giannis
man.
would be a big as well, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're saying if you're gonna go with the big got to come in and be the dominant player. So you saying got to be Giannis.
I do think it has to be dominant in a way, yeah, but they have to also have that gravitational pull that's just going to make it a lot easier for people like Jalen and Devin to just get off and not have to stress about certain things, because then that eliminates the fact that you don't have a true point guard. You don't need that anymore if that pull is insane from your front court and now leaks over to your back court. So I think that could work really well and it eliminates a lot of problems. But I just don't think whoever you target as a superstar to come to Phoenix if Devin isn't leaving, it just can't be some type of high volume scorer. It can't be. You got to let Jalen do his thing. You got to let Devin do his thing. And then now with Dylan Brooks showing that he's competent and capable of being that guy, you got to let him rock after a year he had to. So
Absolutely.
that's my thing.
You said Trae Young. Like, what is he gonna do over there?
Oh yeah, and you said James Harden too. James
are they
Harden
gonna do
flourishes
over
with
there?
a big. He flourishes with a big. We've seen that now in Cleveland too again. So I don't think that would work.
It's not a one-piece thing. If you're going to build a roster for a championship, it's not, we got this guy, now we're going to win. It doesn't work like that. You have to have multiple pieces and you have to have an identity and have to be going down like a path of success. Hey, we're targeting this hell of a player in free agency, but also we're going to have an identity of A, B, C, D. So it's, we have the pieces we have. They got great pieces. They got really good pieces. Now, what's your identity? Is it defensive motivated? Is it going to be physical? Are we going to be long, big? You know what I mean? Are we going to be fast, play with a really fast pace? So we want a lot of guys that play in that system. Are we going to defensively really get after it? You know what I mean? Put pressure on the ball early. Like, it's more of an identity thing to me than just, oh my God, they got this player. Shit, they're going to be good. They tried that. They had Devin Booker and KD, and at that time, you're talking about two players that were among the top 10, 15 players in the entire league. So if you had that, as well as Bradley Beal, who, he may not have been top 10, 15 or all NBA player, but he was still of upper echelon players. So you already tried it with two superstars. That didn't work. So I don't believe that it's necessarily what player do they have to get that's going to take them. I believe it's all about the identity and multiple guys. Hev ain't hearing it, but come on.
Nah, I don't think D here either, because they have the little pieces. They don't need Zach LaVine, CJ McCollum. They have Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green. You need the big guy. You need the name.
Yeah.
You need that A tier, S tier player. That's what you need right now. You don't need any more little pieces because you have that. You get that big guy, then I don't want to say knock down, but you bring Devin a little down, and now you have 4 core guys with a big name. Maybe you could do something. I don't see them doing that. I haven't even heard talks of Phoenix trying to get Giannis, or even thinking about looking over there at Giannis. Like, Devin Booker needs to leave.
I don't know.
I'm gonna keep circling
Maybe
to that.
Giannis doesn't fit the culture. Maybe Giannis doesn't fit what they're trying to do. I mean, that's a great name, and I'm all for them. I'm all for them getting a Giannis, but trying to get Giannis is going to also deplete particular assets that you have, which may mean some of the guys that we're naming are also gone.
Yeah.
And to be able to afford Giannis, you're definitely gonna have to make some different moves. I mean, I ain't mad at Jalen Green being gone, but like, you're gonna bring another guy in that makes what Giannis makes, and you better not let Devin Brooks walk for $19 million. So what else do you have? You're gonna have to give up Malawach. You definitely got to. So that's future, that's youth, that's a big, that's 19-year-old dominant big man that could develop into a Giannis-esque type, right? Because Giannis wasn't good when he first came to the league.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
Let's remember now, at 19, Giannis wasn't good. All right. Yeah. So let's be clear. So Malawach is better than what Giannis is at 19 years old today. So you got to give that up, and now you're going all in. So now you're kind of going right back down the road of the previous executives that you had before that was like, shit, just go all in. Let's try it. We got this name, see what happens. And then it doesn't work. So they have to pivot and go a different route and try a different path. And it looks like they've started that with different identity. Hey, we got what has worked really well. We got Malouat in the draft. That was big. We got Dylan Brooks in a trade, and he makes $21 million, and we got him for next year as well at 19. And he's having a career year. That worked out great. The jury is still out on Jalen Green. What is that? Is that a good move, a great move, a solid move? Jury's still out on that. So they got to figure that out. So those pieces are solid. Royce O'Neal, good move. Royce O'Neal, $10 million guy. $10 million. That's cheap. And you got him on contract for 2 more years. Solid piece. And then some of the other pieces not worth discussing right now. So to try to get a Giannis or somebody like that, you're either depleting future draft picks. I'm okay with that if you can pull that off, or you essentially giving up on, and I'm not mad at giving up on Jalen Green, but you can't let Dylan Brooks or somebody like that be a part of that. Otherwise, now you're just starting all over and starting from scratch. So I don't see them going that route. I don't see them going, let's go after a potential disgruntled superstar and see and hope that works. I think they have to identify someone that establish a culture and get players that fit your culture. The OKC Thunder did not go out and grab a bunch of megastars. They drafted, they grew, and they added pieces that matched their culture.
You're missing one part, and they got rid and parted ways with stuff, with people.
Yeah, they did get rid of people. Yeah.
What are you gonna say, D?
Booker, is that what you're saying?
I want him gone. I want him to leave Phoenix. I won't let that go.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. I love it. How many we got left? Just one? Okay,
my favorite team to talk about.
Okay, great. Clippers coming up empty-handed once again. Obviously, with the loss to the Warriors, Clippers go into an offseason unsure about that future, and obviously now still owing OKC, who was the best team in the NBA, their first-round draft pick. So a lot of shade has been thrown at the Clippers recently, all year too, especially from the incident with CP3, who also posted a cool little IG story here for a good farewell season. My question, and I got a lot of questions about the Clippers, but the first one to start off with is, was trading all those assets for PG really worth it in the grand scheme of things?
Remember how I said the Mikal Bridges trade will go down in history as the worst? I forgot about this dumbass trade. I forgot about this dumbass trade.
Got it!
I know we have to ask it, but no, because no, I'm gonna end up going on a damn rant forever. But like at the time, Paul George was. We can't let things go sometimes, and we hate to just accept people are not what they used to be, and that's okay. And at the time, Paul George was not what he used to be. What he used, like, you were not going to get out of Paul George what you thought he was able to give based on his prior accolades and his prior performances. That's how I felt about the situation. And I'm pretty sure it was Kawhi's fault, but this is again an example of, as the organization, as the GM, as the coaches, as the owner, no, I cannot give you that. No. So it was a terrible trade. No, it was not worth it for one player who's not LeBron or Steph or KD. No. It was a terrible trade. Like, I just will never. The Clippers, I hate the Clippers. I do. I hate the whole organization. So that's what y'all get. And then you banked it on Paul George and Kawhi. What were y'all thinking?
Okay, hold on.
Nope.
To be fair, because I'm a PG guy. I love PG, and Kawhi too. But when they made that trade, like Paul George was a high value target at that time because he was coming off a season third or fourth in MVP voting, which was crazy. He was in DPOY voting. I mean, that trade was essentially they were basically getting 2 for 1 because they brought in Kawhi at the same time. And so, I mean, Kawhi is coming off a championship. And I think the narrative at the time was that was going to make them a front runner. So, like, in the eyes of like what we have in this moment in time, I think it made sense. But hindsight is 2020, as Kyle always says, and I know it hasn't worked out. But you have to, at that moment in time, with the cards that are out there, I think you have to try to capitalize on that and see where it goes. Unfortunately, it didn't work. But I think, if it did actually end up working out, we'd have a whole different conversation about what LA is and who PG is and Kawhi, et cetera, third championship. So, but I think you have to take that. You have to.
I was there when it happened.
Mhm.
I was hindsight was 20. I thought it was a dumb trade then. I
No,
thought
but
it
why?
was
Why is
stupid
it why?
then. Because I love Paul George's skill set. Let me make that clear. I think he is a very talented player and one of the more talented players to walk through the league. He
Yeah,
was
a great
never that
two-way-
guy, though. He was never going to be the guy to get you a championship.
Oh, you can't say that after
Yes,
the
I
run he
can.
had going up against LeBron. Oh my, okay.
Yeah,
What?
oh, yes, I definitely can because you
No,
talking about the
bro.
run. You talking about the run in Indiana.
Yes,
That's my
yes,
point.
yes.
But you're proving my point of why people can't let it go. He was never the same. I hate it happens. He was never the same after that. You could see it in his game that he didn't have that anymore.
First of all, injury.
That's why I said. That's why I put up my hand. I didn't want to talk. I don't like talking about that. Ugh.
Yeah, I know,
So-
crazy. But then, okay, but in 2019, again, how do you say that? And he averages 28 in the league and led the league in steals. And again, like I said, looked like one of the great at that time in the league, greatest two ways that there was available out there.
That's why I said Reese's like y'all gotta look at the whole career and not just what happens in front of you for 1 year. And to be fair, like you had to do that on OKC. You
Mhm.
you had to be that. You couldn't possibly think him and Kawhi was gonna get that done. They couldn't have possibly thought that. I think, and everybody forgets about the Kawhi situation. Like, yes, he won that championship. Yes, he was the focal point. We don't have to remind people why he won that championship. We don't. If those two don't get hurt, they don't have a ring. It's that simple.
I know that, but okay,
So-
yeah,
so-
I know.
so
I
you
was a
think-
Warriors fan at the time. I know.
So you think Kawhi, you really thought Kawhi and Paul George was going to get you a championship in the West? Out of the
Okay, but
West?
hold on. But that's what I'm saying. Like 9 to 10 times out of 10, you have to. Kawhi just came off a Finals MVP winning championship. PG top two ways, and like you have to. If you can combine those two top assets, you have to as an organization. All right, who's two players that we could compare them to right now if they were up for it? So yeah, someone coming off of
Nobody. Like,
yo.
no. And the reason I'm even sticking stronger on it is because my thought process at the time has been proven to be right. But I know, like we're saying, we're talking about at the time, but like that's why I'm sticking so hard on it too. Because damn, no, I was right for tripping at that trade. I think I even made a Facebook post back then when they did that.
Somebody, Junior, go and find that, by the way.
Like,
Got him!
oh man, I hated it then, and it just wasn't gonna work. And then they kept getting worse by adding. It wasn't gonna work.
Well, yeah, I
It wasn't gonna work. It was never going to work. And like I said, you have to look at the whole career. Kawhi has his whole career always been an asset. Like he's always been the added, never the focal point to lead someone to a championship. And I know the Toronto Raptors won with him as the lead guy, but they won because people got hurt. They won because of the Achilles and the ACL. That's it. They're not winning that championship if the Warriors are healthy. They're not. Can we agree to that?
Can't be the focal point.
Hell no. No, and no. Because, okay, where has he been the focal point elsewhere and won anything?
I mean,
Without,
Bruh.
am I lying? Somebody, I want you to tell me I'm lying.
But you're saying that with Ashley, like you're saying that and then saying you have to remove the championship you won because this happened. You can't do that though.
Why not? Like, why not?
That's like what Chris always says. If this would have happened, if I was 6'7", I'd be in the NBA, right? But you're not. It didn't play out that way. So like that's always going to be on your resume as you were the main guy on a Raptors team that had never won. They brought you in after injuries, and in 1 year you brought them a championship in an era where Golden State and at the time LeBron was running through things. It just so happened that everyone says, hey, to win a championship, you have to get lucky, right? And there's injuries that play, et cetera, et cetera. But he brought it home for them.
And so that's why you look at the whole career and never just what happened the year before. Because you look at his whole entire Spurs career, that wasn't the case. Still a great player. If you have Kawhi, you have a chance to win. Not at your focal point. If you have Paul George, you have a chance to win. Not at your focal point. Those two are, and alone, those two alone, you thought that was going to get it done? And this is the win now. Like, it's so much wrong with the Clippers. Fuck, they suck. They suck as an organization, not even just talent-wise. They suck as an organization. That win now, it's going to kill them. It's going to forever kill the Clippers. You didn't want to invest in your future at all because you had to win that very moment.
I don't know. This year for the Clippers has been crazy. So I'm not willing to go on that ledge with you just yet and jump off with that because but I will say Kawhi played damn near the most games he's played in a very long time.
Yeah.
The Clippers weren't even there. I mean, there was fucking narratives of this year. We're not going to make the playoffs. Like they made those trades, so they weren't going to make it. Then they ended up going on these incredible run, and then now they're in the position that they are. So like I think there was potential there, but I also don't think this roster this year was even built in a position to win for us to gauge is Kawhi good as a focal point. You know what I mean? And we're forgetting Brad. They brought in Brad Bill.
Please
don't. Always circles back.
Please.
It always circles back to this guy. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to see. I don't know. Kawhi's getting older. If he goes somewhere else and he proves your point of like you can't be the main guy, then yeah, I'll come back and be like, damn, man, I knew Hev was a genius.
We never got to see the full potential of Kawhi and PG. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little unfair, just a little unfair right now. Injuries are a part of the game, so hold on. We know they're part of the game. You have two injury-prone guys. You don't take that into consideration at all when you're trading. That's why I know we didn't see the full potential. That was a possibility when you traded for them. You got someone who quit on a team after getting injured. Whatever happened between him and the Spurs, he quit on them. You have someone who's injury prone in Paul George. You didn't think that, hey, maybe this is not gonna work because we won't even get to see him. Nobody thought that. Nobody in the organization was like, hold on. We're gonna trade away our young need guys for the old knees over here.
Let me get in on this one. Let me bring it down a little bit. Let me bore y'all real quick for 1 second. I mean, a lot of great points. Let me just say something. The first thing is Kawhi. When you're in that top spot as a GM, often, kind of like what D's saying, you got to make a decision. You either all my chips in or I got a particular strategy, right? With that Toronto trade, Masai, that's my guy. Masai pushed all his chips in. He said, you know what? We Toronto, we keep getting close. This is LeBron. At the end of the day, we keep getting knocked off. DeMar DeRozan, big-time player, huge piece. Jacob Poeltl, and I think they gave him like a first-round pick. Chips in for an injury-prone guy who has been in a very difficult situation with a legacy organization and has 1 year available before free agency. Man, the hell with it. Chips in, gets a championship. The only championship that exists in the Toronto Raptors organization. Now, Masai's moved on. He's doing other things. I think he just became one of the governors of one of the WNBA teams. He will have a statue or a whatever you want to call it in Toronto for making that move. You know what I mean? So that's like you have, when you're in that top spot, you got a window. You know, you got a 2 or 3 window. Now, flip side, you take Troy Weaver. Troy Weaver believed, I'm going to build this out of the draft. Who did he work for? He came out of OKC, right? He was right there as assistant GM with the Genius. So he went with that strategy with the Pistons, got them to the point where they had the worst record in the league. We're looking at his draft picks now, all NBA players for the Pistons right now. He didn't survive it, but his strategy was a hell of a strategy. I think when you're in that top spot, you got to choose whichever side you're going to go with and lock in. And so, yeah, the Clips went in. The decision at the time, yes, it came back and bit their ass. But I think it got to be win or go home. Whichever side you choose now. I'm not saying that I'm with you, Ev. I feel I'm not really with the go for the injury prone guys, go all in. But you also, if you're not going to do that, then you better be drafting right, and you got to be patient, and you got to take a beating from having losing seasons or subpar seasons with a fan base that's not showing up to the games and so on and so forth. So all I'm saying is I'll let you and D continue with the debate, but if you're a GM, you got to pick a side. You either going chips all in, making some decisions that might be great or not, or we're going to be patient and we're going to ride the wave of getting our ass kicked before we grow into it. One of the two got to work.
I mean, like I said, when you stated your opinion on the Jokic, step one, I got to state my bias. I don't like the Clippers. So that's my bias. But I mean, to your point, like you that didn't bore us. It wasn't boring. Like you really broke it down. That's kind of what I'm saying. The win all mentality really messed the Clippers up, and they won't. And they still have that. Let me state, they still have that mentality for some reason, as if they ever won anything. You've never won. Why do you keep betting on yourself to win and making trades like that and signing people like that? You never won. Why stop doing that? You put all your chips in for what? For what? Why'd you do that? You could have been building, and hindsight, Shea wasn't what he was then that he is now. But who knows? Maybe if you let the young guy rock with a vet like Kawhi, this could have been something good. You don't know, because you then traded for another vet with injuries.
But wait, hold on. But now you're saying that now, but you want the Suns to go ahead and deplete their roster. Let Malowach go. Let Jalen Green, 24-year-old, 19-year-old, two players that may not have come into their own yet. Get rid of Devin Booker, or trade to get Giannis and roll with Devin Booker. Like it's.
Whoa, no. My first point was Devin Booker needs to leave. D just brought up Giannis. I was like, that sounds good. I don't want them to deplete the roster. I want them to get rid of Devin Booker. You have to lose to win. You're going to suck for the next few years. Keep building. That's how I feel about it. And then the Clippers just made it worse with James Harden. Bruh. I really don't like the Clippers. I hate that every year in the beginning of the season, they're in the conversation to do anything because we just forget the year before. We forget the year before. Fucking suck the year before. Oh, come October, we really have to watch out for the Clippers. Do nothing. Next October, we really have to watch out for the Clippers. They're never going to do anything. Mark my words. They're never going to do anything.
Okay. Well, instead of going to the next question of Clippers, blah, 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 I want to focus on just one last question with Kawhi then, because I'm going to give the man his flowers, right? Because this season, hell of a season from Kawhi, who's in an older age and a lot of injuries and scrutiny. Hit the 65-game mark, obviously, so played, again, the most in the last 3 years. 28 a game on 50, 39, and to damn near 50, 40, and 90.
Mm-hmm.
Most healthiest season, productive season, I would say, and if I had to sum it up. But to your point, they did still get bounced. So I might agree. I'm not going to agree that he can't be the focal point, but I will agree that he can't carry a team right now. So yes, maybe find someone else. With that being said, going into this offseason, where do you think Kawhi could best be suited?
I don't like my answer.
Let me guess.
Hold on a second, D. Hold on real quick. Little quick mid-roll. Just want to shout out everybody in the chat. sticking with us. We appreciate you guys, juggling with us with these different times and, evening, and then also, Friday mornings. Just want to give you all a shout out and just say we appreciate you guys. We appreciate some, new individuals that's been jumping in and giving us some great topics that's even shifting how the segment is going, because we're moving into some of the subjects and the questions or opinions that you have and using those as topics. So continue to vibe with us. Keep providing your thoughts. We appreciate it. All respect, all love, and hopefully we continue to build a great environment here. Thanks a lot.
I want to give a special shout out to Wealth Engineering. We've been on the same wavelength all podcast. Shout out to you. I don't know who the hell that is. Shout out to you. I say you're not gonna like. I say you're not gonna like. You're not gonna like my answer.
Is that what you're gonna say?
I'm not even joking. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
After a year like this,
exactly what I was going to say.
You're saying go out on a high note. Get out of here.
Look, you gotta know when it's. I was just talking about this on my TikTok, because of the Nas Austin Rivers. Yo, these 17 plus years careers are not normal. You gotta know when to retire. It's not. We've been made to think it's normal because of these Steph Currys, the KDs, the LeBrons. It's not normal, and especially for an injury-prone guy. Go, hang it up. You have a great career. There's nobody who going. People are gonna be like, okay, you really didn't play a lot of games.
You really didn't play.
You didn't play a lot of games, but you still have a great career to talk about. You're like, nobody's gonna trash you when you retire. You keep playing, and you really could hinder your career. You could stain your legacy if you keep playing, especially someone like Kawhi, who's always in the question of playing in the first place. Look, you got injuries. Just retire. Like, who's trading for you? Who's shopping for you? You gonna stay with the Clippers? No. More injury-prone guys you putting money on. Go get you a young knee. I keep saying that. I keep having that statement. Go get you a young knee. You don't need old knees.
We just said. We just talked about Steve Kerr not being able to handle young talent.
So what are you saying? Like, why would I tell him to get a young knee?
Oh, wait, who are you talking about? Are you saying Warriors go get you some young knees?
Yeah, like don't worry about Kawhi. Don't worry about Kawhi. Like, I'm talking about Kawhi. Like, no, I don't like the Kawhi situation for the Warriors. I like Kawhi at home. Like, go retire. It's okay. It's just okay to retire. There's nothing wrong. Like, you don't have nothing left to prove. He really doesn't have nothing left to prove. And I'm not even his biggest fan. You don't have nothing left to prove besides the fact that you could play a lot of games, and you did that this year. What else does he have to prove? He's not going to get MVP.
Yeah, but I mean, but you're a hooper. Like, it's not even about proving. It's just like, especially knowing Kawhi, how he practices, he probably just wants to play. And plus, once it's over, you gotta understand, once it's over, it's over. There's no, I'm coming back. So get all that shit out while you can now. You talking about get out and go home and do what? No, let the man hoop. Let him find a situation. We just talked about Devin Booker's championship window not being over. Kawhi's don't have to be over either.
It's not even about the championship. You're not even getting there. So now next year, and then they blaming it on you. Like, the media is, everybody gonna blame it on you. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but you're always gonna be looked at. All right, damn, you couldn't get the Clippers nowhere this year. All right, fine, you come back next year. Couldn't do it again. Now the narrative's just gonna keep piling up. You can't get a team to win. Instead of, let's nip that in the butt now.
Yeah, but a lot of superstars have to go through that. When you're at that level, you have to. Like James Harden in Cleveland right now. If they don't do nothing, James Harden will probably take the bulk of that.
We ain't talking about James.
I'm just saying. I'm saying superstar. That's part of that role. You have to take that fire.
This late in your career, after this many injuries, is a different story than early on in your career. James Harden's a completely different story. That man can't. I got words for him. Like you bringing up someone I got the same words for, except I don't have retirement for him.
Oh, okay.
I don't
There's
have
a couple
retirement for
Yo,
him.
Junior, right? It's a couple segments down that you gotta do because. All right. Chris, anything on Kawhi? Is he better suited at home or with someone else?
I mean, I think he's still gonna play, right? That's the thing. I mean, he has done a great job of being able to extend his career to as long as he wants to. And he has an owner that is all in for him. So as long as he wants to play, he will be right there in LA playing for the Clippers. So I have no timetable on where that's going to go. I think he is capable to continue to be a really good player. It's like LeBron. Like LeBron can play as long as he wants to. And he's going to be good. You have people that want LeBron come off the bench, want LeBron to this, want LeBron to that. Kawhi he's good. And he's like his ownership loves him. You know what I mean? Like they're like crazy about this dude. And well, and as they should be. He is a champion, multiple. He's talented. He still can play at a super high level. So I don't see him retiring unless he just obviously he's different and he doesn't always speak out, unless he just randomly surprises all of us one day and says, I'm done, I'm hanging him up. So 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I think we still see Kawhi, lacing him up with the Clips.
No, you did not just compare that man to LeBron.
That was a good quote. It's like him and the owner are partners in crime. That is such a loaded that statement there, and that's a good one. Like that's a bar right there. That's Rob. That's a bar right there. Like pin that D. That's how cool.
I know you. No, it's not the same thing as LeBron. They're not missing the playoffs. You. All right, fine. You're gonna end with a losing record in your career. If you don't already have one, you're gonna end with a losing record in your career.
I feel you, Hev. I'm just saying, I'm not saying, I'm over here in his ear on his team on telling him what's best and how he should finish his legacy. He still make a lot of money. He still can continue to make a lot of money. And whatever the decision process is, I'm just saying I don't see him leaving anytime soon.
You don't see him leaving the Clippers, or leaving the league?
I don't see him leaving the Clippers or the league. At this point, I don't see a reason for him to want to go. I don't believe he wants to go anywhere else, right? I believe his lifestyle, team, relationship with the owner, like all of those variables, go where? For what? I'm solidified. I'm a champion. I've done it in 2 spots. I've been all NBA. I've been all-star. As recent as this year, I put up when he hit like 4 or 5 threes, whatever it was in a row, had a great half, at least, if you will, a great quarter. He doesn't have he's not in the same position to chase rings. He doesn't have to chase a ring or anything like that. So I think it's like lifestyle, where I want to be, coaching, organization, stay here, whether I get a ring or not. I believe his relationship with that owner, he would still be a guy that'll go up in the Raptors, regardless of the level of success with the Clippers he has. He will still end up being one of the greatest Clippers.
Yeah, so it ain't that hard. I really don't like the Clippers. So you think he's just comfortable in LA? Like I think that's fine. I think that's even more reason to retire, because I mean, it's just not going to do anything there. Like, I don't, you know what? Some people just love to hoop. I'm never going to fault people for just loving to hoop. So if you just love to hoop and want to continue to hoop, go ahead. You're just going to keep losing. The West, you're just going to keep losing in the West, especially in the West. That's all I got.
Yeah.
D, you don't agree?
No. I agree with the sentiment if that is the case. I'm not a fan of players playing just to play. Like, I love people that do hoop, yeah, but there has to be a competitive spirit to want to win. Now, if that is actually the case of what you're kind of alluding to, like he just wants to stay in LA and wants to play, but there's no aspirations of doing anything, oh yeah, then I'm not a fan of that. Then yeah, I feel like get up out the league and let that roster spot go to someone that's going to develop and want to play and want to win and want to compete. Otherwise, shit, go LA Fitness with fucking Michael Beasley if you like that. Then, but nah, I'm not a fan of that. But I will say I do. I mean, Kawhi, like I said earlier, will probably make an All NBA team this year, probably 13, and I think he's still a great player. I just want him to go and do something else with someone else, kind of like you feel about Devin Booker. With that being said, go ahead and close us out.
Oh,
I got a quote.
I got a quote. Chris, close us out.
Thank God.
So I want to talk a little bit today about courage and fear. I think a lot of people at least in our country, right? I think a lot of people right now are trying to find their courage and in dealing with a lot of fear and uncertainty and things of that nature. So I just wanted to just give a little sentiment to that and a little bit of encouragement. I believe courage is not fearlessness. So it's not like without fear. It's movement despite the fear. I believe that fear rides with literally everyone who's chasing something meaningful. You're going after something great. You're trying to win. You're trying to do something impactful for your family. There's going to be fear. So I believe anybody that's chasing something meaningful, fear rides. But the difference is who lets fear drive, who lets fear take the wheel. I'm encouraging you all, anybody that's watching, take the wheel back from fear. Fear can ride, but fear can't steer. Have a fabulous Friday.